Trump baby account rules have officially changed. That's the alarm. And if you're still following the guidance from a few months ago, you're likely leaving your family's tax advantage growth on the table. Today, we're auditing the 2026 guidelines from this One Big Beautiful Bill Act. We're going to see the exact mechanism straight from the architects themselves on how to move from a $1,000 government seed to a multi-generational wealth strategy. We aren't speculating. We're looking at the institutional blueprint. You're about to hear Secretary Scott Bessent break down a quick version of the retirement architecture on CBS for the Invest in America initiative, followed by Brad Gershner's analysis of the capital flows behind this initiative. You're probably asking, why does this matter to you right now? Because this isn't just a savings account for your child. It's a shift in how the state is incentivizing wealth accumulation for the next generation. If you don't understand how these baby accounts integrate with the broader adult retirement architecture, you're missing the biggest tax advantage pivot in this decade. And whether you like the Trump baby accounts or not, we'll talk about other ways that you can invest in your child and in America. Well, in your child. I don't know if you've read this book, The Wealth of Nations, but a lot of this is based on this. For this session, we see how the architects are framing this to the public and the markets. And then at the end of the briefing, I've included a full 30-minute step-by-step masterclass on how to file the IRS Form 4547 and where you need to put it on your 2026 forms. So how to set it up. So stay until the very end for that. Ledger's open. We're going to get to work. We're going to start out with this video right here. We'll see a couple videos, and we'll go from there.
Going to give every newborn American child a financial stake in the future.
Any U.S. citizen with a child under 18 can opt into a Trump account when filing taxes. We sat down with Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent to chat about the initiative. What, for families viewing, is your one-sentence pitch on the Trump accounts?
Well, for the families who have children between January 1st, 2025 and December 31, 2028, you've got $1,000 coming from the government that's going to be invested into an index fund. Parents, employers, and nonprofits can make contributions in any Trump account up to $5,000 annually. If the government's initial $1,000 deposit is left alone, it could grow to $5,800 in 18 years. But by contributing the maximum, over $300,000. If I'm a low-income family, my child, when they turn 18, may only have $5,000 or so, give or take. So how are you going to prevent the wealth gap from widening with this program? Well, I think that is a terrible criticism. It shows how out of touch anyone who says that is. Because if they say only $5,000, these are families, huge number of families in America wouldn't have $500 to meet a medical emergency. So how can they say only $5,000? If they aren't able to go out and pay for college, to go buy a home eventually, if it hasn't really meaningfully changed their ability to do that, would you call this a failure? Or is there a different way that the Treasury measures success in this particular program? Well, as I said, so many Americans couldn't even meet a $500 emergency. So maybe people just put it away and it's their rainy day fund. You know, it can be a component. Like, I worked 3 jobs to put myself through college, so maybe I would just be working 2 if that happened. What are some of the safeguards in this program that will help educate folks so that when someone does turn 18, they are able to utilize this in the right way and benefit? Sure, great question. I've been a big proponent of financial literacy over the years. We are pressing the states. We think states should be in charge of education. But I believe that by virtue of the accounts existing, we're going to have a great real-time laboratory that people are going to want to get up to speed because you're going to be able to look at it on your phone. We also
All right, so there you have it from Secretary Bessent. This was a few months ago, getting ready to launch the initiative when he was just speaking about some of the ways that the Trump accounts work, some of the things. We're obviously not getting political sides here. We don't do the political thing. That's not how we help Main Street meet Wall Street. That doesn't help anyone with your money. Like, that's not going to help you get invested. Like, so if you're one of those people who are sitting here and can't even look at these accounts because they say Trump on them, like, come on, blue or red, we're talking about green right now, and we're talking about things for your children and for the future. So even, like I said, even if you don't invest in a Trump account, when you get back to the back half with the tutorial, talk about other ways that you can invest in these types of accounts and, reach the same type of things. Because once again, it's about this, this is what this is based on. The way we are right now, people look at the Wealth of Nations, they go back. And I don't think kids are reading that book anymore. That's just where we're at in this world. So frame it, think about it. And like I said, I want to give this to you straight from their mouths, people who really took a big part in setting up these initiatives as far as they go. So the next thing that we want to look at is Brad Gershner speaking on Trump accounts. For those who don't know, Brad is a huge part of the Trump accounts. He really had a huge role in creating them, being a part of this initiative. Mentions that he's not the original one who created this, so per se, he gives shouts out to Cory Booker. But here, let's take a look, and then just so people know, like I said, this is meant to be a public and private initiative. So inside the public market, people are looking for investments, and you've seen investments from private sector individuals into these accounts. So now we'll take another look here. Once again, we'll take a look here and we'll see a little bit more into the Trump accounts, what they were set up for, the framing is how they are intended to work. So here we go. And once again, you shouldn't blame your dollars with left or right.
It's a real trust funds for every American child, allowing family members, employers, corporations, generous donors to contribute money that will be invested and grow over the course of a child's life to be used for their benefit after they turn 18.
So that was back in early December, and today he makes good on that announcement. President Trump this morning will share more about the Trump accounts as the administration highlights that initiative with a summit in Washington that is right now underway. Some big names in the room, including Dell CEO Michael Dell. He's a big contributor. Airbnb co-founder Joe Gebbia, the rapper Nicki Minaj, his wife, ex-guest Gershner, Brad, founder of Investment and CEO of Altimeter Capital. Brad, nice to have you on. Good morning to you. I'll spell it out in simple language, and you go ahead and fill in the blanks here, okay? Here we go. If you're born between January 1st, 2025 and December 31st, 2028, you're eligible for $1,000 from the Treasury. Parents then can contribute up to $5,000 per year. Employers can contribute up to $2,500 a year. I mean, so you can't touch the money until you're 18. In the end, that adds up to a lot. Brad, go ahead and tell about that.
Well, Bill, it's great to be here, and what an incredible day as we launch this new phase in the Invest America and the Trump Accounts Summit. The critical thing, what you just mentioned.
It's a little drag here.
Sounds somewhat confusing. I would say it like this. Forevermore, every child born in America is going to get an investment account at birth, and we're going to put $1,000 in it. And families, moms and dads, companies, states, philanthropists, and others can add to the account. $5, $10, $1,000. If you start with $1,000 and you add just $750 a year, think about that. That's about $50 a month. At age 18, every child in America will have $50,000. At age 30, they'll have $200,000. And at age 55, they'll have $1 million that they privately own. They can use it to fund their education, buy their first home, start a business. This fulfills the president's promise to get every child in America into the game, reconnected to the American dream, not by depending more on government, but through private ownership, owning a little bit of NVIDIA, a little bit of Microsoft, a little bit of our greatest companies.
I like that. A little more NVIDIA. Kidding. Not really, though. I mean, it's a heck of a company. Brad, so as long as you can't touch the money till you're 18, but what you're describing is after 18, you can use it for anything you want? Doesn't have to be education?
No, so at age 18, imagine this, Bill. They're going to get this money at birth. By the time they're in elementary school and middle school, we're going to start the financial education process. The teacher will say, get out your phone, open up your Trump accounts. Let's talk about what it means to own a stock. Let's talk about how this compounding works. So it's a mechanism, a universal private ownership platform to teach financial literacy to all these kids. At age 18, they can take a certain percentage of the money out to buy a home, start a business, or go to college. Otherwise, it rolls over into an IRA account and, just grows over the course of their life, and they'll have it for retirement.
Compounding interest. Here we go. The Council of Economic Advisors predicts the following, and you kind of touch on this. By age 18, right, you could have $303,000. By age 28, it's more than $1 million if you do the maximum contributions. If you give no contributions, right, you're still shy of $6,000, which ain't nothing, and then $18,000 by age 28. You know, President Bush 43 pushed this idea about 25 years ago, talking about Social Security. He tried to get it off the ground. He was met with resistance. We had the NASDAQ blow up and then pop right in front of us. But now it's going to happen. And you can see how real wealth in America can be made in the stock market if you've got the nerve to hang in there through the tough times, Brad.
Well, I've been working on this for 4 years. It came together under the leadership of Ted Cruz and Speaker Johnson, had a lot of bipartisan support, frankly, on Capitol Hill. Under the Invest America Act, it was included in the big, beautiful bill, would never have happened without the president. But I agree with you that this has been tried before. The problem before is they tied it to Social Security. This president said there's no connection to Social Security.
All right. We don't want to get too deep into connection to Social Security. But once again, whether or not, just look at those numbers and the compounding interest. So depending on whether you want to invest in the Trump account, or this could be any account is what you have to think about. This could be any account for anyone that's investing. Like they said, these turn into IRAs at a certain point. So you can be investing, you don't have anything to start. But you can see that compound interest. Are those numbers generous? Absolutely. But could you get there? Who knows? We'll see. Yeah, but even if that's like shooting for the stars, and if you land for the moon, you'll still be fine, in that situation. So get started with investing. That's one of the big things that we need to realize, that people need to start with the investing. And yeah, the financial literacy part's huge too as well. So when you have a chance to explore financial literacy with your children or with your family or someone else you love, that's a big thing. You should share this video with someone you love or someone who's had children, about to have children. Really, anyone under 18 can benefit. And like I said, at the end of this, don't worry, I'm going to talk a lot more because I'm going to have that tutorial at the end for the step-by-step. But I know there are a lot of folks just even in my community that I see and speak with who are having babies right now, or who have multiple babies who may not have the means to set up accounts and start saving for their kids' retirement. So, or even a way to set them up for a little fund once they reach the age of 18. But like I said, even if you don't want to invest in an account called a Trump account or any kind of Invest America account, that's fine. There are other type of accounts that you can invest in for your children and for yourself and for your future, right? So don't use this as an excuse not to invest just because of the name on the account. That would be a huge misnomer. And then, that'd be a huge mistake. And then finally, we're going to take one more look over here before we get into this tutorial. It actually kind of plays right into where they left off, speaking about how the private sector can play into this initiative, and you get a real life example here. And once again, we don't get political. I don't own this. This isn't my copyright material, but it's in the public domain. So this is stuff that they want people to see. They want the information about the Trump baby accounts out there. So this is an example of a real life example, and this may apply to you. and your children. So take a listen.
Are announcing a $6.25 billion gift to be paid directly into accounts of 25 million American children. That works out to about $250 per child, and it's designed to accelerate the impact of Invest America. That's the new national program that gives every eligible U.S. child a savings and investment account that they can grow over time. Here with more details on that gift and on Invest America is Brad Gerstner. He's a champion of the cause. He's been talking about it here on Squawk Box and all over the place from the beginning. Brad, we can't believe you actually got this done. Congratulations.
It's incredible to be here, and incredible to be here on Giving Tuesday with this announcement. I mean, this is one of the largest gifts in the history of the country.
I think the largest to children.
Right, largest to children. And by the way, Joe, it's not going to a charity that will then distribute some of the money to children. 100% of this is going directly into the private accounts of these children. Would have been impossible but for the passage of the Invest America Act.
I think what's important about this, too, because I always thought it was a little unfair that it went to kids who were only born after a certain date. Like, what about the kids who were born the week before? Sure. I love what Michael and Susan Dell are doing here, which is to say we're going to take care of a lot of the kids that were born before those dates, who are a little older than that.
And remember, when I first came on, the idea was to start with the class of 26, and then it would move forward with every subsequent class. And the president and members of Congress said, hey, why don't we expand it to every kid under the age of 18? But we couldn't afford to give $1,000 to every kid under the age of 18. So we're really looking now to the power of philanthropy, the power of corporations. There's an incredible joint letter out this morning from Senator Booker and Senator Cruz coming together, like in this day and age, that bipartisanship, saying that every company should contribute to these accounts. And I've already announced here, Uber and NVIDIA, companies like T-Mobile and iHeart are all going to contribute to these accounts.
It's a Trump account. I mean, Booker, that must have been hard for him.
Listen,
swallow hard.
We're coming together on the National Day of Giving. This truly is something that we can all get united around. And I will tell you this. There's tremendous support in the philanthropic community. Michael and I will be leading the Invest America Giving Council, talking to all of these philanthropists, right, on both sides of the aisle, in the corporate community, moms and dads, churches and synagogues. The magic of this is these are privately owned and anybody can contribute to these accounts. So it's unlike just a charitable contribution. Right. This is really a new direct giving platform that's universal for every child born in America.
I love the idea for this. How do you then make sure that kids understand what to do with this?
Yeah.
Because that's the question, too, is it seems like the easiest way to fix things, give money to the people who need it. How do you then give them the tools to understand that if I continue to invest in this, if I continue to put money aside, save instead of spend, this is where I wind up.
Well, the place you start is they actually need to be able to open their phone and see that they have a little skin in the game, right? If you don't have anything and your parents don't have anything, it's hard to get excited about learning about financial literacy, stocks, etc. Now everybody's going to have that. 30 states already require a semester of financial literacy. I expect, and you will hear some announcements in the months ahead about efforts at the state level, financial literacy threaded in public education, because now the teacher can say, open up your phone, open up your Invest America account. Let's talk about how what it means to own a stock. Let's talk about the compounding. Let's talk about what it would do if you added another $20 a month to that account. So I think it gives us a platform for literacy and education around finances that we desperately need in the country.
Go big or go home for Michael. That's
the accounts are open.
I was thinking
today.
that's a lot of money, but he's doing all right.
Or sorry, the apps are open today.
Joe, think about this. We have the Giving Pledge, right? I think we're one of the most. It's Giving Tuesday. We're one of the most giving countries in the history of the world, right? Think about Europe, where they had dynastic trusts, generation skipping trusts. Everybody was devising a scheme to hold on to the money. And yet in this country, we have so many people who said, I want to give away the vast majority of my wealth during my lifetime. I think that's unique in the history of the world, but it's very difficult to give away money at this scale.
5 billionaires, and will Senator Warren say, wow, here's a good one, a good billionaire that's not a leech on society? Or probably...
I'm not going to go there today, Joe. It's the National Day of Giving. It's about a unity.
Let's give him some grief.
And we got people on both sides of the aisle who are coming together to support this. I think that's what you'll hear later today from when we're in Washington, D.C. We're certainly going to be meeting with folks on both sides. It takes all of us, every family, every company, every philanthropist coming together to solve this problem. And I think we're not only bottling up hope for every one of these kids, right? But we're aligning all these kids with the future of capitalism and the future of free markets, which I think is critical as we enter this age of AI.
Again, congratulations. I am amazed that you were able to get this done. So really, congratulations, and to see this continuing to grow.
Thank you for giving us a platform. I hope CNBC stays involved. I think that this can be, something that a whole new audience, right? A whole new feature we can talk to these kids about. Wouldn't have gotten done without us getting the word out there. But today is all about Michael and Susan. It's an extraordinary gift to the future of this country.
It will help if we start kids early on the benefits of free markets and capitalism.
100%, John.
I know you're not going to go, you say you're not going to talk about anything interesting, but I mean, we are at a point where 51% of our youth think that socialism is a better. We've got a mayor named Mamdani now in
that is a devastating risk to the country. Less than half of people under the age of 40 have a positive view of capitalism. But as the president has said, when you're left out and left behind, when you have no skin in the game, it's Peter Thiel's, famous tweet that went around over the last few weeks. When you have no ownership, it's a lot easier to want to burn the house down. But the fact of the matter is, when every one of these kids opens up their phone, sees they own a little slice of Microsoft, of NVIDIA, it's a lot easier to get excited about capitalism. This is the first thing we've done in the history of the country. We're creating a private prosperity account for every child. They will all be in the game. The president's Main Street agenda, this is getting all of those people on Main Street, folks where I'm from, in rural Indiana, who don't have anything, feel left out and left behind. This gets them on the side of the upside of America. We got to get everybody believing in the American dream again, and there's no reason not to. We have the most dynamic economy in the world today, but everybody needs to share in that upside. This gets them going. This gets that little snowball going. The $250 from the Dells is just the beginning. Once that snowball goes, we know that parents and others will add to the account. Savers save more.
And I wanted to show videos from different networks just to show that's not politicized anything here. And as he mentioned, you have support from the right and the left for this initiative. But once again, the mindset, people, we need to get into an investing mindset. We're not talking about trading, going in and 0-day options. We're talking about investing time in the market over timing the market. Compounding interest, the strongest force in nature. Einstein said it, and he was a smart guy, I think, right? So just remember that. Like I said, another thing mentioned was earlier that these accounts go, he said, for every kid, but they run for children born from 2025 through 2028, so President Trump's term. So if you have a child that was born last year or now or is going to be born in that time frame, you can at least, I would say, sign them up, get that $1,000. But and then even with initiatives from folks like Michael Dell, Brad was on TV today, and he mentioned that he was down in Durham. He was speaking at Durham County School. Maybe he spoke for the whole Durham superintendent. I think it was a principal at school, though. And he said he's going to fund $250 for every student in that school. So if you know anyone in Durham, I can't remember the school or the county, but there you go. Durham, North Carolina, he's literally funding those kids' accounts. So even if you don't ever take any time yourself to put money in these accounts, if you, like other people are funding them and you see the power of compounding interest and it's setting the kids up with something, it's starting that conversation on financial literacy, which is so potent. Stay until the end. Like I said, we're about to get into this tutorial part. Thanks for watching. Main Street Meets Wall Street is great. It's like 30 minutes if you want to know like actionable steps that you can do right now and how to, if you want to sign up for this account. Like I said, there are other kind of accounts, 529 accounts. There are trust accounts for minors. I'm about to hop on this meeting, but this tutorial is about to start. So check it out. Sign up, make a move, do something. These are actionable steps that can happen. I sign my kids up for the Trump accounts, full disclosure. The Invest in America accounts, that's another thing. These names could change when the names on the accounts get changed with the next administration or administrations in the future. So don't get focused on a name, focus on the results. Do your own research though. This isn't investment advice, but this is something that I feel like people should definitely take advantage of or take a deeper look at. Some ways to set up money for your children in retirement. And like I said, anyone can contribute to these accounts. So Main Street Heart, Wall Street Smarts. If you found value in this so far, I know you're going to love the second part where we get into this tutorial, but hit subscribe, hit like, share this with someone you love. I know I shared this with some people I love, so hopefully they're watching. Thanks. And check out the Main Street Meets Wall Street podcast. Also check out Marcus Sturdivant Senior's YouTube channel. And if you need some financial planning advice, that is what I do in the daytime over at theabcsquared.com, my financial planning firm. Check out the second half. Let me know what you think. Enjoy it. If you have any questions, we can go deeper into that. Also, another thing is that now they have Trump adult accounts. So that's going to be an IRA account. I can make another video on that if you all want to hear. But check out the tutorial. Thanks for watching. How to open a Trump baby account. It's going to walk you through it. What's up, Main Street? Mark Sturdivant Sr. here. And I've spent a lot of time here lately talking about Trump and Trump baby accounts. The One Big Beautiful Bill, things we've been digging into on podcasts and shows since last year, before the bill was even signed. I wanted to create something for folks who were looking to explore the site, know a little bit about it. Financial literacy is a huge thing for me. So I'm going to go through this tutorial, a masterclass on Trump accounts. During the tutorial, we'll talk about some of the benefits of it, some of the possible alternatives, like 529 accounts if you're specifically saving for retirement, or you also have the options of UGMAs or Coverdale saving accounts, or different kind of accounts that you can have for a child. Your kid has just started working. You can set up a Roth IRA, but that's for another video. Today, we're talking about Trump accounts. So let's jump right into it. And this is just sitting down with me, a Teams meeting type situation. It's more laid back than what you normally get from my channel. But this is what we're doing tonight. I think people can find a lot of value in this. So start out, we're at trumpaccounts.gov, an official website of the United States government. And we're going to go through this. And we'll show you how to open these up on the digital side. And then we'll also show you how to open up the PDFs. I have those pulled up as well. So Trump accounts, jumpstart the American dream. Get started. Build a long-time financial security. All right, we can click this right here and get started, but we'll come back to that in a second. Just know these are for U.S. citizens. You'll need a Social Security number. You'll fill out Form 4547, Trump's presidential terms, and you'll make an election for the year 2026. You'll get some message back like this eventually when it kicks off. A thing to note is that right now, while we're setting these accounts up, they don't go live until July. But you get $1,000 for every American child born between July 1st, 2025, January 1st, 2025, December 31st, 2028. You'll need a Social Security number for that kid. The account is fully in your child's name, and you are the sole custodian until they turn 18. No contribution necessary, but you can deposit up to $5,000 per year. Now, that's for any kid under 18, but for the kids right here, like we said, they get the seed money. All kids can deposit you can deposit up to $5,000 for any child. Like I said, it's launching July 5th, 2026. You can enroll your child with Form 4547. Financial institution will receive your funds, activate your account. Sit back and watch your wealth grow. We're going to come back to this form. There's some cool things on here for this site, but I just want to hop in right now and show you what to do if you need to open up an account. Hit get started. It populates you over here to this site, still on the form for trumpaccounts.gov. Like I said, form 4547, and you make the election, okay? It tells you what you're doing. You complete this form. Eligible child, like I said, you'll need your Social Security number. And you may accept the $1,000 contribution if your child's eligible. You're obviously sending this information to the IRS. Someone will reach out to you to finish setting it up. But your basic information is, fill it out. You put your information in here, and it's just a regular field, so you can just put whatever you want in there. I don't want to put too much in there because it might. There we go. Bruce Wayne. Already filled one of these out. Bruce Wayne has 1111111. Bruce Wayne was born in 2000, so this is the part for the parent. Parent has to be over 18 to fill this out. which is interesting if you're a person with a child under 18. Contact information, United States, foreign. So if you're not here but your child's a citizen, I guess you can still receive this information. I would receive these funds, but you'll just go here and fill out this form. And it doesn't matter if your child lives at a different place. You can go in there and there'll be an option below where you can specify that. Address, the bat cave, phone number, the bat phone. That's my phone number if anyone wants to call me. That's my email if anyone needs to email me. Then step 3, you're entering your child's information. So you gotta make sure you're the parent or guardian authorized for this $1,000 pilot program. And this is a great program. It was initiated a big part by Brad Grishner over there at Altimeter out in California. There's a lot of private firms that are also contributing to this at this time. You have the NFL Corporation, JP Morgan, Bank of America, to name a few, and they're actually contributing money to these funds for their employees. Michael Dell and his wife, Ray Dallios and his wife, are contributing funds to some. Michael Dell's contributing to all the children in America under 18. I think it's 25 million divided by all the children. Comes out to about $250 a kid. Ray Dallios is just specific for children in Connecticut. And there are just different ways to contribute to these funds. It's a move, I guess, by the administration to have private investment into children's futures. There's a gentleman out in California, or I say gentleman, it may be a lady. There's an anonymous donor out in California in San Francisco who's donating like $2 million for the children out there. So there's just different ways and different people who are contributing. The $1,000 that starts this seed fund comes from the Treasury, so from the people. That's where this $1,000 initially comes from. And once again, that's all the same stuff. You have to have Social Security number. You may have up to 2 children per form, or additional children, you need to complete another form. Because what's the average family? 2.5. So you'll go in here, you'll fill out your child's information. Batgirl, and I know Batgirl's not Batman's daughter. Don't worry. So a big thing to look at right here. So not only is the date of birth, so right here, 2/24/25. If you click, is your child a U.S. citizen, it's going to pop up with the option for that pilot program, right? Boom. Pilot program contribution. Click right there. So once again, that's based on the birth date and if your child is a U.S. citizen. If I was to go in here and put 2020, I was to go in here and put 2024. There we go. I'll put this in here. Let's make it 4. All right. See, the option is not available. The one that was there before. Either way, you'll have to click parent or guardian. But for the purpose of this video, let's look at 2025. So the option is available. So you'll click, is your child a U.S. citizen? $1,000. You'll enter your relationship. And then once again, you remember we were mentioning if your child is at a different address, click this box, fill out your kid's address. Overseas, fill out your kid's address. So domestic and foreign American citizens. And then you have to check a box that shows that you're authorized to open an account. Add another child. Rinse, wash, repeat. Or wash, rinse, repeat. Maybe I said that backwards. Either way, we'll make this one Robin. I know Robin's not Batman's son, but if I'm going to make Batgirl his daughter, we'll make Robin the son. And then you could put this one as the child at the same address. You wouldn't even have to change it. And then you would do the same thing. You would come to step 4, review all this information. As always, the consent, small consent to sign. You would sign your name, you would sign the date, or it would have the date there. Obviously, you're going to say that you are who you are, and you would submit the form. A big thing with this form that you need to realize is that once you submit it, if you enter any information incorrectly, it will definitely delay the process. This is a new process. And I guess just have some grace with the government if we can have any more. So that's how you do it on this site right here with the form. But there's also another option that you can go to. I know some people like analog, or it's not particularly analog this way. It's just a PDF you can fill out. So here we go. We're going over to that's already the form. We'll come back to that form. So here we'll go right here to the IRS website. So it wouldn't have instructions right here, just be irs.government right there. Oops. It's got the instructions in case you all didn't believe what it said on the other government website. We can look at it right here, and it goes into a good breakdown of what the form is. You click to get to that form. We'll get back there in a second. Click on that site, it takes you back to the site we were just on. This explains in the legalese what Trump accounts are. The first line, a Trump account is a type of a traditional investment retirement account, IRA, established for an authorized individual for the exclusive benefit of a child listed in Form 4547, Part 2. Child listed in Form Part 2 will be the owner of the initial Trump account, also referred to as the account beneficiary of the Trump account. In order for the child to qualify to receive the $1,000 pilot program to the Trump account, the child must meet additional requirements. Then it goes into additional requirements. You can click there and see the pilot program, but that will just take you back to the website we were just on. But we'll go back there and you can see that part that shows your authorized user. And it talks about during the growth, there's special rules that don't apply to it. We're going to show the special rules right here. A big thing about this is the growth period, right? So you have to look at the growth period. If a child was born, you get the money out when you turn 18, the year before you turn 18. So if you were born that same date that I said, February 2025, here they have October 2025, and you turn 18 in February 2043, the growth period would stop in December of 2042, which actually would benefit someone more than this kid who was born in October, because you're not losing the end of the year. But during the growth period, that could be rolled over and it'll be established for your child. And we'll go into the different times the kids can take the money out, but it's interesting at 18, or they can let it stay in there all the way to a retirement account age. You can take it out after 55, 65, 59 and a half. These accounts are pre-tax or tax deferred. So once you take out the money, you will pay taxes on these accounts, which is a very interesting aspect to it. For every gimme, there's a got you, right? Some people worry these accounts are just slush funds for Social Security. Could be slush funds and use like Social Security has been used. Or in some have stated that maybe this can replace Social Security. I don't know. We'll see. That's a long way down the road. For now, we're just getting through the blocking and tackling, getting one of these accounts open. So once again, the authorized individual, that's going to be the parent. You can open this account. And this just shows all. If an adult sibling is making an election, it would be representing that they were neither a legal guardian nor a parent of the child available to make it. Someone else can make it. But you have to authorize that you are eligible to make it. Here you see if you open up both the account and the pilot program, it'll be that tax year. Once again, we'll go to the contribution elections. We'll go over that in just a minute. I'm just trying to slow down so people can see it. And then more information right here about, so it says select your eligible investments. These eligible investments are going to be ETFs and mutual funds, so you don't have to worry as much about single stock movements, but they have to be invested inside U.S. companies, select U.S. companies, I believe, as well. You can roll over, you can contribute, like I said right there, and then at a certain age, someone has to take over the responsibility. The child is the owner, but they don't take it over until they're 18. You have to have a Social Security number, and you can't open more than one Trump account per person. Big thing right here, valid Social Security number. Child must have a Social Security number issued to them before the day of the Trump account election. So if if you're pregnant right now, don't go fill out this form yet. Wait till you have your baby. Child has to be a U.S. citizen, and the Social Security number has to be one that's valid for employment. That's just something that ties into, like, it's not really a green card or anything like that. Ensuring that these are U.S. citizens. That's a big part of it for the government initiative. And then right here it says there are 5 types of contributions that are generally made. So pilot program, qualified contributions. Some of these can be tax exempt. Employer contributions, so that was like the NFL. Qualified contributions from private entities would be like what I was speaking about, the Dale family or the Dalios family. Rollovers, and then other sources as well. So parents or grandparents or any person, as you see right there, can contribute. Can't contribute before the 4th of July. And then it shows the taxation right here. So like I said, these gains will be taxed. And there is a limit, annual limit. And with the pilot programs, we said before, you just have to be a qualified child to meet the criteria as mentioned before. You'll go on to Form 4547, Trump accounts, and no earlier than July 4th for contributions. So for any employers who want to fill this stuff out or help their employees out, you check out Section 128 here, and it just says that $2,500 limit for employees or $5,000 annual limit. This was talking about the investments I was saying earlier. So mutual funds, ETFs. If you're wondering the difference between mutual funds, ETFs, or what they even are, I have some really good videos on the channel. One where we actually break it down really simply into ETFs and mutual funds, pros and cons of each, and that track U.S. companies and meet other certain criteria. Distribution, that's why I was speaking about the age. When you can take it out, you can take it starting January 1st, the calendar year you turn 18, but you could pay taxes on early distribution unless an exemption applies with respect to the child. So that exemption will be higher education, purchasing your first home, starting a business. You can file this form anytime. Even at the same time you file your taxes. Once again, like I said, I guess if you still have a bun in the oven, don't file it yet. Wait till the baby's born. For that kid, if you have other kids who are already here, go ahead and file it. Where to file it? You can elect it electronically. Trump accounts. You can do it on paper. We're going to go to the paper form in just a minute. Don't attach it. Don't amend these. Talk to your tax professional if you need to. Make sure you get this stuff done right. This just shows, once again, these are specific instructions. And while, the government will say here, everything's right here for you to look at. At the end of the day, if you send this stuff in wrong, it's going to fall back on you. So let's make sure you have it filled out right. They make it fairly simple, as you saw with the first form. For each child, if your child already has a Trump account, and you're filing Form 4547, all or part must be completed with your child's information except for line 6. So this goes back into the contributions, valid Social Security number. This is the consent to disclose that you will be putting your information to the IRS, the Treasury, and their agents. To disclose the facts, you'll have to sign the form. It's not valid unless you sign it. So sign the form. Paid preparer. Like I said, if it's done by a paid professional, the paid preparer must complete this section. So if you have someone do it, there's a section they have to do for you. Then questions, concerns, you can go right here, or you can literally mail it in. Let's take a look at this IRS form, the paper one. Once again, We are on the IRS website to find this information. So let's go over to the paper form right here. Let's make this large. Maybe that's, yeah. There we go. IRS.gov. So if you look at this right here, I already filled this out earlier. You just go in and you enter your information. These are populated boxes. If your information is already pre-populating your system, it will fill in there. It's pretty much all the same stuff from the digital form. It's exactly the same stuff from the digital form, except for you just fill it out right here. Some people like the analog. This part right here is for the pilot program with the babies, the contributions, consent to disclose. And then that will be the part that if a paid preparer used this, a professional, that will be the part they need to fill out. That's part 6 that they were speaking about. I'm sorry. That's part 4 right there. So that's the paper form for it right there. And like I said, it's just pre-populated. You're going to fill out one child in a column, the other child in a column. Let's get back over to this page right here real quick. So this page really breaks down some of the stuff that we were talking about before, except for it shows it in a different, more prettier form on our IRS page. So we've already looked at all this stuff before. Let's go down to the part where, right here, where we were. So big things start with small steps. It's the government selling this to you or showing you, pleading the case, pitching their case as to why you should invest in this, why you should sign up, jumpstart the financial future. Like you said, you get the $1,000 from U.S. Treasury. That gives you a head start on your child's future. Power of time in the market. Oh my goodness. Compound interest, time in the market over time in the market. It's a great tool that children will be able to see it. We actually have a calculator on here in a minute that we'll see that we can show you. It just shows you the power of compound interest. And it'll show you whether you make any contribution or no contribution. And that's account value 5,000. So it'll be something to see. Notice how the numbers keep getting larger the further down you grow. Beautiful picture. Proven winners, all American growth. Sugar in the bottom. Your child's funds will automatically be invested in American companies, and the app lets them see what stocks they own and how they're performing. Financial literacy is a huge part right here. The more you do, the more time you spend with this, the compounding of their money, they'll be able to make informed financial decisions. And that's another reason why at 18, hopefully these kids are able to use this money after they've spent their time. Right, that part. Free to contribute and let it grow. Withdraw it for funds like education or home. But just know the taxes, like this is tax advantage, which just means it's tax deferred, like a traditional IRA, which means you'll pay the taxes later, but the growth pre-tax. It's right here. Let's look at the growth. So grows. Contributing is optional. Balance will contribute to growth. Continue to grow. This is assuming the stock market goes up, though, right? But over 18 years, it's rare that the stock market's down for 18 years. Let's start at 18. So at age 18, you had the $6,000 contribution to start. Or if you started from $1,000 because they're 18, so you start at $1,000, zero contribution. Then we have $6,000. If you contribute $250,000, you'd have $19,000. If you contribute $5,000, the full amount, you'd have $271,000. At age 27, these numbers jump to $15,000, $51,000. So these numbers are 2.5 times. 742,000, almost 3 times. Or yeah, 2.5, 3 times once again. So it's just huge. And once again, you're like, where are they coming up with these numbers? They're based on the account opening at birth with $1,000 opening and are derived from historical S&P 500 averages. Actual results may differ, and obviously results are not guaranteed. These numbers could be higher or they could be lower. Really nothing. If they wait till 55, they would have 243,000. If they contribute $250, they would have 878,000. And if they could contribute 5,000 a year, they would have $13 million. Once again, it's pre-tax money, but that's a substantial amount of money. The philanthropists that I mentioned earlier here, some of the companies that, and private individuals, if you want to participate yourself, you can come here and just click on the link. Oops. We're not going to do that. But you'll click on the link and it'll open up the form for you. So if you want to contribute. And then this is a message from Donald J. Trump, 45 and 47. So it's just speaking more on their initiative to get American families invested at an earlier age, showing the power of compounding interest. And then we'll go through these answers for parents, questions people may have. So who's eligible? 18 and up, Social Security number. You're eligible. Parents or guardians can open. How much? That's the $5,000 per child. The money will be invested in portfolios, low-cost index funds designed to maximize growth. And then, like I said, they can be used. Withdrawals are subject to restrictions and may be taxed as ordinary income, but qualified expenses like education, first home purchase, or starting a business. So like mentioned earlier. And to open the account, said before, you just go to form 4547. And you can do this when you file your taxes or through the online portal. And this money, these funds will be available July, in the middle of July, beginning of July, middle of July. You can just check back for more information. Now, if you're a kid, because there's some kids who are like 17 and 16, you probably want to know, what can I do with this money? What can I get it? You access your funds once you turn 18. So withdrawals for eligible expenses, like we said, higher education or first home purchases. If, like I said at the beginning, if you're looking for something just for higher education, there are other options. We don't want you to think that this is the only option. It's just a breakdown for some of the different options inside these Trump accounts. Like I said, there are 529 save accounts, Coverdell accounts. There are definitely different options that you could use. You can monitor these. You can log in and see your accounts. So hopefully that would help if money was being used like Social Security, but you can log in and see your Social Security estimate as well. When you turn in 18, the account will transfer to the 18-year-old. Full access to manage and use that account, but hopefully we've made these young folks so financially literate that they know what to do with this money. And once you start earning, you can make contributions to your own account. So that's pretty cool. You can contribute there. You have your own IRA set up to go. Private institutes who want to jump in. And philanthropists. Your employer may choose to contribute. Think of JP Morgan, Bank of America, NFL. And employers may choose to offer some of this as a cafeteria plan so you can get that money in their pre-tax to the children's account. But these other contributions will be after tax. Maybe they'll be tax deductible. Corporations can deduct up to $2,500 in Trump accounts on behalf of their employees and their children. And philanthropists can make donations, nonprofit organizations, and local organizations. These are your headlines. Like I said, the Dale family with their contribution, the announcement last year. And then if you have questions about it, you can go right here. Like I said, tax advantage. That just lets you know that you will be paying taxes one day. And that's that account, right? And that's pretty much a really deep dive into these Trump accounts, I should call them, right? It's just crazy how much you can have at 18, even with the compound interest starting now going down through this thing. Going back to how you can have multiple accounts, I want to mention a tool that I use and that I actually help people with in my financial advisory business. When I'm not doing this at night, I'm doing that by day. Monarch Money, just so you know, I'll put a description. The link for Monarch Money is a budgeting tool folks use It's good for sharing with your spouse, with your partner, with your financial advisor, anyone you need to share your budget with. It's great for real time looking at your tools, looking at your budgets, looking at where your finances are. You can connect bank accounts, you can connect investment accounts, you connect your bills so you see your cash flow. And obviously, it has AI enhancements. It's a really good tool. If you do choose to use the link that I provide, I may be compensated a fee, but there's an offer for a free 7-day trial. It'll be in the description in the link. Also 50% off to either one of those links. But Monarch Money is a great tool because what good is earning money if we don't know what to do with it, if we're not seeing where our cash flow is going? It's a really big thing, a really big part of financial literacy and growing. So you may wonder why I just hopped on this thing. For anyone who's seen my channel, they know that I'm usually on the camera talking, but I wanted to go through here and just show everyone this actual tool. Like I said, we've been talking about Trump Baby Account since last year, spring of last year. And it's just a big initiative. It's been an initiative in the world. I think Senator Cory Booker suggested baby bonds some years ago, but that never made it into the House, or I guess it never made it to a vote or to the president's desk. So, but now we have this right here. So better late than never, I guess. This is a different type of initiative, but it's definitely a good thing. If you enjoy this type of stuff, let me know in the comments. If there's something else you want me to show you, like a how-to video or tutorial, just let me know. Because once again, helping Main Street meet Wall Street is more than just podcast episodes with, like we do on Main Street meets Wall Street, where we have Wall Street experts come in, sit down and talk and break down complex topics. You should check that out. Or some of the things on YouTube channel where we're talking about just the markets and what's happening in the world today, micro, macro, geopolitical issues. This is something where people can sit back, look at this, go in, dig into this account, and set it up. You could do this today. I mean, I took a while to go through this video, but it'll only take like 5 minutes to go into it and actually open this account. Like I said, you won't get the money until it won't be available until July, but it's something you could check off your list today. So things we covered in this video, I just want you to remember, we went through the step-by-step on opening these accounts, and we dug deep into it, masterclass style. Went to how you can claim your $1,000 money. We compared these, to some different accounts, 529s, Trump accounts, Roth accounts, just different accounts. Talked about how I use Monarch Money to help folks with their budgeting. I'll probably include in the description, so I'll include in the description links to the sites that I was on today. Some links to the podcast, maybe wants to check it out, and go ahead, subscribe, like, download, do all that fancy stuff with the podcast, engage. Let me know if this is something you want to hear more of from this channel. Like I said, I'm down here in the Wall Street South, and my main goal is to help Main Street meet Wall Street. Financial literacy is a scourge in this country, in this world. So if I can just help people, if only one person listens to this, it's fine with me if it helps. So once again, Main Street meets Wall Street, coming to you straight from the heart of Charlotte, North Carolina. Main Street Heart, Wall Street Smarts. Subscribe, like, check us out. We're out Main Street. We just audited the architect's vision and mapped out the technical execution for the 2026 wealth strategy of the Trump baby account plans. Whether you're navigating the new IRS Form 4547 requirements or shifting your family office into an adult retirement architecture, the key is execution. Remember, this isn't about setting up a savings account. It's about an architecture and building a multi-generational tax advantage mode, something you can pass down to your children. The financial landscape is moving faster than the news cycle. If you found this breakdown useful, ensure you're subscribed to this channel. We don't do the hype here. We document the structural shifts in the Main Street meets Wall Street economy to help you protect your wealth before the headlines even catch up. So you can join us over on my channel, Marcus Durbin Sr. at YouTube. Connect with me on YouTube or LinkedIn. Check us out on the podcast, Main Street Meets Wall Street podcast. If you missed the historical deep dive into the market crashes or the upcoming AI bubble that's been predicted by some of these market experts, check out the channel and check out the podcast. We have some great stuff that just popped, and we have some great things coming out. Hit the like button if you appreciate the deep dive intelligence that we take on this channel and this platform. This is a station for you. People are looking for plugs. This is an outlet. We're providing information. I'm Marcus Sturdivant, Sr. The ledger is open. The blueprint is clear. If you have the time, you have the desire, the information is available. The war for the Main Street economy is ongoing. We're in a more economy. Audit your positions, optimize your strategy, and allocate for reality. I'll see you next time. Get to work. Main Street Heart meets Wall Street Smarts.